Welcome. In this lecture, we are going to look at a very interesting topic and a very important area of numerology, numerology energies destiny triangle. This method is based on the major arcana of the tarot. It has nothing to do with fortune telling or predictions. It has nothing to do with magic. Numerologists don't touch cards, don't work with cards. We use the tarot major arcana symbolism only to visualize energies. Let's take a closer look at this system. What is energy? In the numerology of energies in the destiny triangle, we consider energies as a mean for fulfilling our purpose. That is, every person is given 6 energies at birth. 6 basic energies. They are the base, the framework, the foundation, and they are extremely important. And that is why every numerologist must know and understand the numerology of energies and the destiny triangle. There are a lot of systems, methods, and calculations in the destiny triangle. Energy is the fuel for fulfilling our destiny. Now imagine a car. A car won't move without fuel. It won't make it to the destination. Hence, as soon as you refuel a car, a serviceable car, you will be able to move on. It works the same with energies. Each person is given a certain set of energies at birth. This is a certain potential. With the help of these energies, a person moves towards their goals. A person performs the tasks of fulfilling their purpose, communicates, brings up children, sleeps, eats. That is, does pretty much everything. A person can do something only because they have energy. It's not magic, but a scientifically proven fact. So it's not a question of whether you believe it or not. Each person has energy, and moreover, people learned to photograph it. Look at the slide. You can see clearly in photography. You can see more detailed information on the internet. The Kirlians photographed the human aura. Our aura also consists of our personal energies. And we also have the energy centers, which are called chakras, and accordingly, energy channels pass through our chakras. But in this case, when we talk about the destiny triangle, we won't address the chakras. We will talk about the chakras in the next lecture, the third one, when we look at the matrix of destiny. We talk in great detail about the chakras during the lessons of the second stage, that is, the matrix of destiny. Also, in the School for Creating Jewelry and Amulets, we talk about the chakras and diagnose them. The students of our School of Regression and Trance Psychoenergetic Correction know perfectly well how to diagnose the aura. Why diagnose it? Look at the picture. There's a spiritual person, healthy person, and unhealthy person. A spiritually developed person has a very strong aura. The energies are very strong, and the strongest aura, the strongest energy, has a purple silver color. These are the colors that correspond to the higher chakras. And when the higher chakras are very developed, it means that all the others are developed too. Then the aura of a person is strong. Our aura is a protective energy envelope. If a person has a strong aura, a strong protective energy envelope, then no negativity, no aggression from the outside can reach him. He is unreachable to envy, magical influences, and so on, and a person will perform all the tasks of fulfilling their purpose easily. Look, a healthy person is an average, normal state when the aura glows in different colors, like a rainbow. Those familiar with the chakras know that the chakras are also divided into different colors. Each chakra has a certain color, and the energy in the aura has the colors of the rainbow as well. Look at the aura of an unhealthy person. There are breaches in this aura. The aura looks like it's been cut. And through these breaches, through these holes, a person receives negativity from the outside. They receive aggression, envy. A person is a victim for energy vampires, a perfect victim. A person is like a car. This car goes on, and at a certain stage, the fuel in the car simply disappears, and the car just stops. It's the same with people. A person goes through life, and when something important happens, this something may be connected with his profession, with relationships, with personal development. A person simply doesn't have enough energy for it. A person feels like a squeezed lemon, doesn't know in which direction to go, doesn't know what to do, how to do it, and why to do it. All this happens because of holes in the aura. And that's why our 6 basic energies create a protective energy envelope for us. And the quality of this protective energy envelope is very important for our fulfillment in all areas of life. It is important to study the numerology energies, the destiny triangle, and the matrix of destiny. In the next lecture, I will tell you how they differ and why it is necessary to know these 2 methods. I focus on this particular system in the free masterclass because it is the keystone. And if a person's aura is destroyed, if there are holes in it, it is necessary to strengthen the aura, to close the holes, to adjust the aura, to heal and restore it. And all this is possible if you know what 6 basic energies were given to you at birth, what tasks you need to perform to strengthen these energies, how to manage these energies, and accordingly, what potential you were given at birth. And numerology energies, the destiny triangle, answers all these questions. Therefore, listen carefully, take notes, draw conclusions, and I wish everyone a strong aura and strong developed energies. Let's move on. In total, in the tarot numerology, in the numerology of energies, there are 22 energies. Because there are 22 major arcana of the tarot, each energy has 4 paths of development. That is, you were given a certain potential at birth, and you, as the owner of your energy, of your potential, decide at a subconscious level which path your energy will develop. Along the light path, the dark path, the hypertrophied path, or the unstable path. And you act accordingly. I'll explain. It's very easy to understand how your energies develop. You are the one responsible for how your energies develop. Only you can determine which path you are on. The light, the dark, the hypertrophied, or the unstable one. Look at the picture. On the slide, there is the 9th energy, the Hermit, the visualization of the energy through the major arcana of the tarot. As I told you before, you don't need to buy cards. I repeat once again, numerologists don't work with cards. You have everything you need for decoding in the guidance materials, and you also have such slides for each energy. And in the Hermit energy, as in other energies, there are 3 options. The first option is the manifestation in the plus. These are the qualities that a person has if their energy develops along the light path. If you lead a virtuous life, if you develop if you try, act, read, watch videos, anything, then your energy develops along the light path. You have enough fuel to complete the tasks for fulfilling your purpose. Now, the manifestation in the minus. Minus is the dark path. It indicates the negative qualities, the negative characteristics of this energy. If a person degrades, doesn't develop in any way, doesn't believe in anything, not in any trainings, not in psychologists, psychotherapists, and a person doesn't want to work out some traumas, then they develop according to the minus. And developing along the dark path, it is impossible to fulfill your purpose because there is not enough fuel, or there's only bad fuel. Manifesting in the minus and following the dark path, you won't get anywhere. Therefore, you need to urgently switch your energies to the plus, to a positive direction. We will talk about all this later. And the third option is hyper. What is hyper? Hyper means exaggeration. Hyper means too much. Hyper means excessively. So the hypertrophy path is when a person overdoes something. Take hyper-control, for example. It is okay when we control our children within reasonable limits. This is a normal parental instinct, but hyper-control is, for example, when we don't let them go out at all, or don't let them go up or down the stairs when they're small. It's when we protect them too much, try to turn them away from everything. That's what hypercontrol is. And in the future, this control will only harm them. In this way, children won't get to know the world. They will depend on you. And without you, they won't be able to do anything. And this will cause huge problems later because we, parents, can't live forever. Or, for example, hypersexuality. When a woman is sexy, intelligently sexy, when a woman is well-groomed, when she is dressed properly, when she is with her man and she has a relationship with only one man, then everyone looks at her and doesn't see a sexy woman, yet she is modest, restrained, has personal dignity. And a hypersexual woman is a woman who is attached, even too attached maybe, to sex, who desires sex too much, who can't live and be happy without sex. I mean, it's kind of an obsessive idea. Therefore, everything that is hyper, everything that is excessive is bad. That's why hyper-manifestation is also considered the dark path. And again, if a person's energy is manifested in the hyper, this doesn't allow them to perform the tasks of fulfilling their purpose. And there is also an unstable path. It's when everything is in the mix. A little bit from the plus, a little bit from the minus, a little bit from the hyper manifestations. And when you read your energy, soon we will learn how to calculate the destiny triangle. So when you read your energies, you will note what you have from the plus, what you have from the minus, what you have from the hyper. It's possible that there is something from the plus, minus, and hyper in you at the same time. That is, you have a little bit from each path. For example, when everything is fine, you develop according to the plus. You are calm, you are reasonable. But under stress, or in some situation for which you are not ready, you immediately begin to show your complexes, selfishness, you get angry, become unforgiving, you are afraid of loneliness. It all depends on the situation. And you run back and forth between the two sides from coast to coast and back. Such a life is a total mess. This is uncertainty. And where there is uncertainty, instability, there are no results. Therefore, the unstable path also needs to be corrected, and all the manifestations in the minus and hyper need to be switched to the ones in the plus. But I think you will understand this during our practice while calculating the destiny triangle. You will calculate the destiny triangle for all your loved ones. I recommend that you don't calculate the destiny triangle for older people. As an example, I took a person who is 72 years old, but I still recommend that you do the calculations for people no older than about 55 years old. For 70-year-olds, you can also make calculations though, but there is a catch. Our grandparents, for example, my grandmother, this is my grandmother's destiny triangle. Look, she has 2 magical arcana. I will talk about this later. I keep jumping ahead of myself. I have 3 common energies with her. I inherited these energies from her. That's the way it always happens. Energies are not given just like that. They come down the family line. But when our grandmothers and great-grandmothers grew up, developed, learned, they had completely different conditions and everyone was equal back then. They had no opportunities to develop their talents. That is, everyone finished their studies and either went to some technical school, for example, or to an institute, and it was super success for them. And everyone went to work. All of them worked in places where they were told to, such as plants. I mean, almost everyone's destiny was predetermined. Very few people could go beyond their limits. So everything was clear for everyone. And they had no such opportunities to develop their talents, develop their potential as we do now. You graduate from high school at best, graduate from some technical school if you're very lucky, and then go to work. At the same time, you need to give birth to children because if a girl gave birth after 25, she was already considered a geriatric mother. This is how it was when our grandparents were young. So everyone was in a hurry. They had no time for themselves, for their development. Therefore, their energies developed in a slightly different way. Everyone worked hard. Everyone belonged to the system completely. Hence, the decodings of our grandparents' arcana may differ. They may also differ for the reason that our grandparents were given the wrong date of birth very often, not the real date on which they were born. They were registered later. Many people lived in villages, and the date when their parents managed to get to the passport office was considered the child's birth date. There are a lot of such cases. Let's get straight to the calculations. Energies are also called arcana. We call them cards. It doesn't really matter. These names are used as synonyms. So the full birth date is February 28th, 1950. We begin to calculate the destiny triangle from the bottom line. We begin with the day number. There's a rule we should follow. We have 22 energies in the destiny triangle. It means that only numbers from 1 through 22 will be in our triangle. If the numbers are greater than 22, then we should reduce them. Just like in my example, my grandmother was born on the 28th day. Is 28 greater than 22? Yes, it is. So we reduce it. 2 plus 8, so 10 is the day number. Is that clear? The month number is always left unchanged because it is always less than 22. We only have 12 months, right? Then we calculate the sum of the year. We add up all the digits that we have in the year of birth. That is 1 plus 9 plus 5 plus 0. This equals to 15. 15 is less than 22, so there's no need to reduce it. Now, we add up the day number and the month number. That is 10 plus 2. And in the second line on the left, we will write the number 12. Is 12 less than 22? It is, so we leave 12 as it is. Now, the exception arcana. We will talk about it later. I will give examples. So how do we calculate the exception arcanum? We take the sum of the year, and if the sum of the year is a double digit, that is from 10 through 22, we add those two digits together. And in this case, we have 15. This is a double digit. We break it up as 1 plus 5 and get 6. 6 is the exception arcanum. To get the life path number, we simply add the numbers in the second line, that is 12 plus 6, and get 18. I think that's clear. Further, we will calculate a few more examples, and I'll show you the calculations several times in the chat. And the next slide. See? It's just about the exception arcanum. Now, if the sum of the year is a single digit, that is from 1 through 9, then it simply goes to the second line and becomes the exception arcanum. But if the sum of the year is a double digit, then we need to add up 2 digits to find the exception arcanum. Now find our number in the table. Our sum of the year is equal to 15, so we can find it in the second table. What number is written under 15? It's 6. It means 6 is our exception arcanum. I have made such tables for you so that you don't get confused and don't make mistakes and can easily find the exception arcanum. So you can write it down, take a photo maybe, or take a screenshot. Anyway, save this table. Okay, let's try to calculate a few more destiny triangles. The destiny triangle for October 31st, 2008. You can also calculate the destiny triangle for children. The calculation method will be exactly the same, but the interpretation will be different because the energies of children under 18 are just being formed. And the way they are formed depends directly on the parents. How the energies of a child will develop depends on how well parents know and perform their tasks in relation to their child. That is, parents are fully responsible, well, maybe about 80% responsible. How do children's energies develop? We have a whole stage devoted to this topic. This is our 4th stage, children's numerology, where we make children's decodings, interpret children's decodings. There you can find out your parental tasks in relation to your children. There you can also see how your energies were formed as you grew up, what contributed, for example, to the fact that your energies are now in the minus. After all, childhood traumas inflicted by parents also contribute to this. When, for example, our parents block our leadership energy, they don't allow us to manifest it on our own, and therefore our leadership energy goes into the minus. Or, for example, when a child is creative, he has a lot of creative energies. And, for example, a boy. Imagine a creative boy. He needs to sing. He needs to dance. But his parents sign him up for boxing classes because dancing and singing is not for boys. And his dad wants him to go in for sports. And dad wants to realize his dreams through his child, and he blocks his son's creativity, blocks these abilities to sing, dance, perform on stage. So he sends him to the sports section, and accordingly, creative energies go into the minus. This negatively affects the whole life of the child in the future, or vice versa. A girl wants to play sports, for example. And she is sent to play the piano, where she doesn't move much, where she has very little contact. Her energies go into the minus. There are a lot of such examples, and we have a lot of lectures at the 4th stage children's numerology where we analyze all of this in detail. Let's calculate the destiny triangle for October 31st, 2008. We start with the bottom line of the triangle. 31 is greater than 22, so we add 3 and 1 and write 4 on the left side of the bottom line. The 10th month. We always leave the month number as it is. The sum of the year, 2 plus 8, is also equal to 10. See, I wrote it for you, the sum of the year. And now we calculate the exception arcanum. 10 is a double digit, so we add 1 plus 0 and reach 1. 1 goes to the second line. Let's look at the table. The sum of the year is a double digit. We need the lower table. Let's find 10. So the exception arcanum is 1. It's very simple. And now we calculate the life path number at the top of the triangle. 14 plus 1 is equal to 15. So it's all clear here. The next triangle is for July 22nd, 1990. 22. We have such an energy. It means that if we have digits from 1 through 22 in the triangle, we should leave them untouched. So 22 simply goes to the bottom line unchanged. The month number is 7. We write it as it is. The sum of the year is 1 plus 9 plus 9. This equals to 19. Now, the exception arcanum, 19 is a double digit, so we add 1 plus 9 and reach 10. 10 is the exception arcanum. Let's look at the table once again. The sum of the year is a double digit. We find 19, and the exception arcanum is 10. This table will help you. Please check yourself because there are a lot of mistakes related to the sum of the year. Do not rush. And now we need to find the number in the second line on the left. We add 22 plus 7 and get 29. Is 29 greater than 22? Yes, it is. Hence, we add up 2 and 9 and get 11. Now, we calculate the life path number by adding 11 plus 10. This equals to 21. I think everything is clear here. Be careful when calculating. And one more triangle. December 30th, 1986. Is 30 greater than 22? It is. We add 3 and 0 and get 3. The month number is 12. And we always write it as it is. Now, the sum of the year. 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 6 equals to 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. We reduce 24 because it's greater than 22. In this case, the sum of the year is a single digit. So 6 goes to the second line as it is, and the exception arcanum is equal to the sum of the year. Let's look at the table and check. The sum of the year is a single digit. We find 6. The exception arcanum is the sum of the year. There's 6 under 6. That's how it is. And in this case, in the destiny triangle, it practically doesn't matter what position the energy is in. In the bottom line, in the second line, or this is the life path number, all these energies are equally significant basic energies given at birth. They are the foundation, the framework, the base. And for the life path number, you have a separate interpretation, separate slides. What is the difference between the life path number and others? The only difference is that for the life path number, you have an additional interpretation. In fact, we get the life path number by adding up all the energies in the triangle, so we give it an additional meaning and an additional interpretation. Of course, you must understand that the interpretations I give to you in the free masterclass are very short. At the first stage in the Compass School, where we discuss the destiny triangle in depth, More serious interpretations are given, and extended in-depth information is given on each energy. But even with the interpretations that you have, you can make a decoding and understand whether you are on the right path or not, how you develop according to the plus, minus, or hyper, what needs to be fixed, what potential was given to you at birth, and so on. If the energies in the triangle are repeated, for example, you see 6s are repeated, in the first triangle for the date of birth, October 31st, 10s are repeated. This means that the energy is enhanced. Again, at the first stage of our school, we give an interpretation of the enhanced energies. We give an interpretation of the interaction of energies, that is, even though all the energies are equal in importance in the triangle, they interact with each other. For example, the 15th energy interacts with the 21st energy. There is a special interpretation when there are 15th and 21st energies in the triangle at the same time. And there are lots of such variations. When, for example, 7 interacts with 10, 19 with 9, magical arcana, I will also talk about them. In the in-depth course, there are a lot of interpretations, guidelines. Okay, now what you need to do. Let's go back to this slide. Now, your home assignment. I'll send it to the chat as well. You will need to calculate several destiny triangles. Your destiny triangle, the destiny triangle of your loved ones, whom you know very well. You will also have an example of the decoding in the chat. And you will need to draw conclusions. Find all the slides to each energy and find the slide to the life path number. And draw a conclusion about how each of your energies develops along the plus, minus, hyper, or unstable path. I recommend doing it this way. Prepare 2 markers, let's say red and green. With the green marker, you mark all the qualities that you have from the plus manifestations, all your best positive qualities, and with the red marker, you mark all those qualities that you have from the minus and hyper manifestations. And when your qualities are highlighted in color, you will be able to determine and understand which qualities you have more of, plus, minus, hyper, or you have a mix of all of them. Visually, the colors will make it clear. And you determine, for example, that in the 15th energy, you have about 90% of the plus manifestations. That is, you develop according to the plus. But there are some shortcomings somewhere in which you develop according to the minus. Those are the 10%. You can determine it by looking. Or, for example, energy 1, your qualities completely align with all the minus qualities. That is, in the first energy, you develop 100% according to the minus. And in this way, for each energy, you will need to draw a conclusion. And the next slide. If you find that your energies develop along the minus or the hypertrophied path, or your energies are unstable, plus, minus, hyper qualities manifest alternatively, then these energies must be converted into the plus ones. Because with the minus energies, it is impossible to fulfill your purpose. It is impossible to achieve success in all areas of life. It is impossible to become happy. After you read what minus qualities exist, you will understand why. Because manifesting in this way in life according to the minus, showing their negative qualities, a person cannot achieve anything. They cannot find their place in society. They cannot realize themselves at work. They cannot build normal relationships, and so on. Therefore, if your energies develop according to the minus, you can and must necessarily switch them to the plus ones. What do you need to know to do this? First of all, you need to know and carry out your tasks for each energy. That is, each energy has its own tasks. But this is, of course, a more in-depth methodology. This is an in-depth system, in-depth information. Now I'm going to give you some extra information about each energy and you write it down, okay? For example, the energy of the Magician Arcanum. Their power is in their hands. It means that one of the tasks that they need to do is to work with their hands. They need to create something with their hands. It may be some creative work, some products made with their own hands. Then this energy will develop. This is only one task out of the 10 that need to be completed for developing the energy of the Magician. The second energy is the High Priestess. This is a very delicate, sensitive soul. It is necessary for them to increase stress resistance, work with a psychologist, read psychological books, work with a psychotherapist, with a coach. That is to strengthen their psyche. Because if they don't, they may have a hard time. Now, the energies 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the family energies. I will speak about the family energies in general. For them, it is necessary to learn to harmonize relationships. A strong family, harmonious relationships. It's all like a foundation for a person. It's like their wings. If a person with the family energies 3, 4, 5, and 6 doesn't have a strong family, then accordingly, there will be no foundation under their feet. All areas of life will collapse. And we know a family is like building a house. We need to work on harmony in the family, happiness in the family. We need to make efforts, but no one taught us how to do it. We act in the image and likeness of our parents. We make mistakes, and thus sometimes we are left with nothing, or we have to put up with a lot of trouble in the family. Therefore, we need to learn how to build a family and also attend various trainings, masterclasses, and so on. The seventh energy is the Chariot, management of multidirectional processes. This means that a person can create a business, be successful in creative work, and engage in a hobby at the same time. That is, they can do several things at once. Here, it is very important to structure everything. That is, first get the result in one business, then add the second business, the second sphere, then the third one, and so on. And then a person will be able to do everything well and at the same time. It's important to get everything done. I will tell you about the 8th and 20th energies later. These are karmic energies. Here you need to know what karmic debts you have, and we will partially consider this in the third lecture. Now, the 9th energy is the Hermit. It is very important for them to spend time with themselves because only being alone, doing something useful or just relaxing, the Hermit accumulates energy. If they don't spend time with themselves, then their energy turns into nervousness, into aggression. For those who have the 10th energy, it is very important to develop their intuition because the 10th energy gets fortune from the universe, and this fortune must not be missed. They need to see the signs, to feel the events. For this, it is necessary to develop intuition. A person needs to look for the sources of intuition in the destiny triangle. We will also talk about this during our free masterclass. We will talk about psychic abilities. The 11th energy is leadership qualities. It is necessary to be a leader, to show yourself as a leader. A person needs to lead people. If a person doesn't show themselves as a leader, if they are afraid, if they are insecure, then the task for this energy is not fulfilled. The 12th energy. It is important to receive the maximum number of certificates, diplomas, because a person has their own unique perspective, and thanks to additional training, certificates, diplomas, a person confirms their unique perspective. And thus, they cease to be a black sheep in society because their unique perspective is confirmed. And it is important to build alliances, all kinds of collaborations to lead people. I have the 12th energy, and this is exactly what I'm doing. Now, the 13th energy is transformation. It is important to perceive all problems, all difficulties, and a person with the 13th energy has enough of them, perceive as development. This means that if something bad happened, you need to take it as an experience and not to shout in despair, "Oh, why me? What did I do to deserve such bad luck?" But take it as development. And with such a perception, a person will be reborn every time after overcoming problems like a phoenix and will become even stronger. The 14th energy. It is important to constantly move because there is a danger of falling into a swamp. This is the energy of temperance. It is important for them to constantly move, to act, and not to dig in their thoughts. They should act immediately as soon as the thought comes to mind. People with the 14th energy think a lot. They can delay actions. This, of course, negatively affects the development of this energy, so think, then immediately act. The 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th energies are magical energies. I will also tell you about them separately and give you a link to the post. These are the strongest energies in the Destiny Triangle. It is very important to constantly learn, to be a mentor. They can't do without esoterics here. It's necessary for them to study numerology, astrology, regression, runes, tarot, whatever. The main thing is to develop along the light path. Next, the 19th energy. These people get their energy in order to give it to others, but not for themselves personally. It is important for them to either create some sort of creative product or, for example, to perform on stage. It can be anything. A person knitted a sweater and gave it to another person. This is already a transfer of energy. That is, they need to do something. They need to create something, some kind of energy or product, and transfer it to other people. If they don't share their energy with others, it burns them away and goes far into the minus. I told you about the 20th energy, the karmic one. We will return to it later. The 21st energy is the guardian angel. You have a very strong guardian angel, and it is important to listen to your guardian angel. It is also important to develop intuition here. And how to develop it? Through self-knowledge and spiritual development. What is spiritual development? Spiritual development is, first of all, understanding of yourself, your mission, your purpose. That is what we are doing right now. Numerology is also a spiritual development because everything you learn will affect your life, your potential, and the development of your soul as well. And the 22nd energy never tolerates any rigid framework and restrictions. It appreciates freedom. Freedom of choice, freedom of action, freedom of thought. And if a person with the 22nd energy is driven into strict limits and restrictions, then their energy will go into the minus. This was a very short description of each energy. Please write it down. You can pause the video. I think everyone has heard something about their energy. Those were only 2% of the tasks to be done to switch your energies to the plus. All the rest you can learn at the first stage. You understand that I can't give in-depth information in a free format. Those who want to switch their energies to the plus and change their lives, welcome to the first stage and other stages of our school. Second, it is important to know and perform the global tasks of fulfilling your purpose. Each person has about 50 tasks, and accordingly, in order for energy to develop steadily along the plus path, it must be applied. Let's imagine our car once again. You refuel it. It's ready to go. Everything is fine. And it is important to know in which direction to drive this car so that it will bring you exactly to the right point, in the right direction. So it's like a navigator. When you know where to go, you enter the address into the navigator, for example, Washington Avenue, and it will guide you. And you trust the navigator. And while you are driving there, you perform certain tasks. You stop at traffic lights, you give way to other cars and pedestrians, and so on. It works the same way with the purpose. You have 50 tasks that you need to complete in a single system at the same time in order to get success in all areas in life. Please pay attention. Purpose is not a profession. Being a doctor, being a teacher, being a numerologist, being a scientist is not a purpose. A profession is only a part of the purpose. Only a part. Our self-fulfillment, our professional activity, is only 10% of it. And other tasks of fulfilling the purpose are in no way connected with professions. They are connected with relationships, fulfillment in society, with personal development, with learning something new, with anything, but not with professions. Next, you also need to pay back your karmic debts and realize the experience of past incarnations. Let's talk about this in more detail. In the third lecture, we'll have our third stage, astronumerology, where everyone, and you too, can determine from the birth chart whether you have personal karmic debts. In the third lecture, I will discuss it in more detail. Now, fourth, you need to choose professions that are favorable for you, which will bring you money, development, and pleasure. That is, unfavorable directions squeeze a person like a lemon, push a person to the minus path, suck all the juices out of them. An unfavorable profession can literally kill, destroy a person. A person can lose themselves because we spend most of our time at work. A standard working day is 8 hours. And we also spend time on the way to work, on the way back, and other preparations. And as a result, we spend half our lives at work. That is why an unfavorable profession can lead you simply nowhere. We will also define favorable professions in the third lecture on the matrix of destiny. Next, you need to know and complete your tasks in a relationship with a partner in order to develop according to the plus. This is also absolutely logical. Sometimes it happens that a person lives quietly, everything is fine, and then they start dating someone. For example, a woman starts dating a man, and this man starts treating her badly. And for some reason, the woman endures this abuse because of her blocks, traumas, and attitudes. And accordingly, this man humiliates her, causes complexes, cheats on her, and God forbid, even beats her. And she can endure all of this for certain reasons. How many problem families do we have? There are a lot of families in which people endure something but don't have love. And it is exactly such relationships that lead a person to the minus manifestations. A person loses themselves and it is no longer possible to fulfill their purpose in such a case, in such an atmosphere in the family. Therefore, relationships need to be worked on from the very beginning. We study the compatibility of partners even more in depth, both at the first stage and at the third stage. It's not just about how compatible you are. These are recommendations on how to create a harmonious relationship with a specific partner, how to make everything work, and whether it makes any sense at all for you to connect your life with this partner and work on the relationship. This decision will be up to you after you read your decodings. This is for those who will continue to study. Sixth, to observe the laws of the universe, karma, and the moral code. This is also a rather large topic. You can read the laws of the universe on the internet. The laws of karma and the moral code are freely available on the internet, but of course in different interpretations. And you need to follow all this in order to go into the plus. And 7th, to fulfill your ancestral tasks, that is, you were born in a certain family and you were given both strength and weakness according to your family, and you, as a representative of the family, are obliged to perform certain tasks that are assigned to you by your family. This is our stage code of the ancestral egregore, and in the matrix of destiny, we also calculate ancestral karma and what ancestral karmic tasks are assigned to you. I mean, you see, everything is not that simple, and many people develop according to the minus precisely because they don't know these points. And their life is falling apart precisely because a person doesn't know and doesn't fulfill these points. A person doesn't understand themselves, doesn't understand their own characteristics, doesn't understand their tasks, chooses unfavorable professions, doesn't know about their karmic debts, doesn't follow the laws of the universe, and has never heard of any ancestral tasks. As a result, we have development according to the minus, everything is bad, poverty, illness, loneliness, and so on, and many, many other unpleasant things, even problems with conception and more serious health problems like cancer and stuff like that. That's why it is necessary to switch your energies to the plus. It doesn't happen with the snap of the fingers, though. You need to work on yourself. And when there is an instruction in front of your eyes for purpose, for professions, for karma, for ancestry, and this instruction says exactly what needs to be done, then turning minuses into pluses becomes pretty simple. It happens much faster and more efficiently. And also, as I have already said, if your energies develop along the dark path, if your energies are hypertrophied or unstable, this means that all areas of life are blocked. And finances and relationships and health and self-fulfillment, I have already told you about this. There is one important rule, you can write it down, that any unfulfilled energy turns into aggression, nervousness, addiction, diseases, and so on. I have already told you about this. Unfulfilled energy is the minus, hyper, and unstable energy. Here are more destiny triangles. Let's look at one of them. I'll give you an example of how its energies can go into the minus. Let's take December 11th, 1987, for example. The first thing we see is the 11th energy, the energy of strength, leadership. A person is a leader, a person is strong, and they must be a healthy leader for someone, for some group of people. And in addition to leadership qualities, it is necessary to develop spiritually. This means that a person should not be the kind of leader who is feared. Otherwise, it will be a hypertrophied leader who will bang on the table and everyone will follow them simply because they are afraid. A person must be a leader who is really respected, a leader whom people want to follow, a leader who is listened to, a leader whom people look up to. And here you can see that the 12 energies interact with each other. Moreover, the 12th energy is repeated, it is enhanced. So in order to be a better leader, a person must necessarily show their unique perspective as the 12th energy tells them to. A person must constantly study and receive more and more diplomas, different certificates confirming completion of various courses. A person must constantly confirm and justify their unique perspective so that people trust them, seeing that a person is a true professional with diplomas and certificates and so on. It is for this reason that we place great emphasis on the issuance of certificates. We give you certificates for completing the free masterclass and for completing the stages of the school, a separate certificate for each stage. And when people see a person with a certificate from the Compass School, they know that such a person is a professional and can be trusted because we have an excellent image created over years. And the 5th energy is the family energy. The foundation for a person is their family. And if there is no family, if there is discord in the family, then accordingly all other areas of life will also be destroyed. And 2 sevens. A person is given 2 sevens to control multi-directional processes. These sevens are given to a person so that they can successfully build harmonious relationships in the family and be a leader at work or in business and have time to study, gain knowledge at the same time. All these processes a person needs to combine and manage them. That is what needs to be done for development according to the plus. But there is also a decoding for 15 sheets, which we have in an in-depth course. And if a person here develops according to the minus, for example, in the 11th energy, if parents humiliated a person in childhood, didn't allow them to develop, destroyed leadership in a person at the root, if a person lived in a family with the wrong family model, where, for example, the mother was very strong, and so she ruined the leadership in the child and, for example, put a lot of pressure on the father, destroyed the father's leadership qualities as well. Mum was such an iron lady, you know? This family model is distorted, and as a result, the parents divorced. There is no proper example of a man-woman relationship, and the person has a lot of blocks, traumas, child-parent problems. And so they can't create a family because there is no example. So they need to go to study. They need to go to therapy, sort out all their problems, study regression, take courses, and so on. And regarding the 12th energy, let's imagine that a person doesn't want to study at all, that they are lazy, that they are talking nonsense and no one takes their words seriously. Everyone considers them a black sheep because their words, their point of view is not supported by anything, because they aren't educated, because they don't study, because they don't have confirmation of their opinion, their knowledge, and so on. And in the 7, the chariot energy, a person doesn't move, doesn't do anything, doesn't develop, doesn't act. And again, everything comes from the fact that, for example, these leadership energies were blocked in childhood. This is an example of how energy is blocked and why energy can go into the minus. I can talk about this endlessly. I could talk about each triangle for about an hour, but I don't have to tell our graduates everything for an hour because they have it all in the in-depth course in the guidance materials. Everything is written there in great detail. Everything about each energy in interaction, tasks for each energy, how to turn the minus manifestations into the plus ones, and so on. Let's move on. Now, about the groups of energies, I have already told you partially about each energy. Remember the groups of energies? Family energies are 3, 4, 5, 6. I also said that if a person has the family energies, it is necessary to learn to build a family. Leadership energies are those where there's the manifestation of strength of character and leadership. Look, the 4 is also present here. It is repeated because the 4 is 50 to 50. 50% of the family energy, 50% of the leadership one. Next, the 7th and 11th energies are leadership. Magical energies are 15, 16, 17, and 18. Once again, the strongest energies in the triangle are the magical ones. You can read the information about the magical energies in the post so that I don't repeat myself. I'll send the link to the training chat. Karmic energies. I also talked about them. And we will talk about karma in the 3rd lecture of our free masterclass. If you see the karmic energies in your triangles, these are the 8th and 20th energies. They are manifested by lingering problems in all areas of life if a person develops according to the minus. I mean, these problems drag a person into a swamp, and it is very difficult to solve them. And in order to solve these problems, a person needs to learn everything about their karma, about their karmic debts, about their karmic programs, and accordingly pay it all back. There is no magic here either. These are ordinary, everyday moments, ordinary, everyday tasks that are related to work, finances, children, childbirth, conception, relationships, parents, things like that. Karmic tasks can relate to absolutely any sphere of life. Creative energies are the 17th and 19th energies. These are the groups of energies we have. Try to remember them. And the rest of the energies are difficult to attribute to any particular group. It is always a mix of energies. I have listed the main ones. And here are separate slides about the karmic and magical energies. I shouldn't have jumped ahead. It turns out that I have a separate slide for them. 8 is justice, 20 is judgment. If you see them in your triangle, it means you have a pronounced karmic debt. I have already told you how to get rid of the problems caused by karmic debts. And the next lecture, we will create birth charts and find out if you have personal karmic debts. We study this information in detail at the 2nd and 3rd stages of our school, the course on the Matrix of Destiny and Astronumerology on the birth chart. So please pay attention to these energies, very important energies that you need to work on in order to get success in all areas of life, because they can block absolutely everything, or at least a lot. Magical energies. I have already told you about them. Having them, my friends, you can't get away from esoterics. There are no two ways about it. It's just not possible because you can't escape from yourself. You definitely need to study numerology, astrology, regression, or other areas and be a mentor. And being a mentor is very easy if you study these areas. Who is a mentor? A mentor is a person who transfers information, knowledge, skills, and abilities to other people. Shows people the way to the light. The best, simplest, and most effective way to do this is by using knowledge in the field of numerology, astrology, because we use decodings to show people the way. People get on the right track very quickly and change their lives. We receive tons of feedback. Look at my Instagram. There's a huge number of comments under each post. This is how the magical energies are realized. I have 2 magical energies, 15 and 18. So I am waiting for everyone who has magical energies on our advanced course at the 1st stage and beyond. Sources of psychic abilities. You also have detailed guidance materials on the sources of psychic abilities. To begin with, psychic abilities are inherent in all people without exception. Absolutely everyone has them on a subconscious level. This has already been proven. But only a few are able to reach the level of healers and psychics who can heal with their hands, fortune tellers, or black and white magicians. Only a few indeed. Because for this, a person needs to work a lot on themselves, or to be the chosen one. Magic is knowledge. Even if a person was struck by lightning and they begin to demonstrate some abilities, they still need to learn how to control these abilities. A person needs to learn to feel, to understand themselves, to understand what is happening to them, how they receive information. Magic is knowledge, remember that. And if desired, everyone can master magic, extrasensory perception, but at different costs of energy and effort, of course. Again, you need to work, work, and work. But if you have the sources of psychic abilities in the Destiny Triangle, look, these energies are listed in the table. 1, 8, 29, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 21. These are the strongest sources of psychic abilities. then you must fulfill these abilities at least at the initial level. What do we mean by the initial level? This is the level of development of everyday intuition, the ability to read people, anticipate events, protect yourself and your family from trouble, to get messages from your angel, not to miss chances and opportunities, and so on. Of course, numerology helps in all of this. That is, when you get to know yourself, when you get to know the world, you understand and see much more. The world and other people become an open book for you. You see and understand a lot. So, numerology is not just calculations and decodings. Numerology is also a huge development. Look for these energies in your triangle and read more about them in the guidance material. And I will give home assignments related to psychic abilities as well. You cannot escape who you are. That's why it is necessary to study esoterics, its light direction, of course. And with that, I've finished this lecture. Thank you all. I think I have given you a lot of information. If necessary, you can listen to this lecture again and take notes. And still, you have received only 10% of the information regarding the Destiny Triangle that you need to know in order to make in-depth decodings. Only 10%. Just imagine how much more can be said about you and your loved ones. Those who are interested, those who want to develop further, welcome to the first stage, where we study the Destiny Triangle in depth, where we study compatibility, how to turn the minus energies into plus ones, and so on. See you at our school. I'll be waiting for you. We have the third lecture with you, though. The lecture on karma, on the financial code, and on the matrix of destiny. For now, digest the information and gratefully accept new knowledge. I'm grateful to you too. See you in the chats.